Saluki Football Fall Camp 2025 continues to roll along. Really, we can't say a fresh face anymore. He's been here a long time, almost longer than any of us around here on staff. Ryan McVicker now promoted within that offensive staff and helps Nick Hill out with, of course, the offense and the quarterbacks. We catch up with Coach McVicker. It's good to see you, brother. How's the first 2 days down? How have the first 2 days gone of camp?
It's good. It's a grind for them, and especially with the team reps we're doing right now. A lot of people, a lot of young guys are getting a lot of good reps, and so it's a lot of stuff on them. But it's like Coach Hill was talking about, that fortitude to keep coming back, and physically, mentally, the installs keep stacking up, and you just got to keep kind of moving as it goes.
You do a lot for this program, and you always have. So when I say what's different now than maybe in the past would be foolish, because you've done so much and you continue to do a lot. But what is maybe the biggest change just now in terms of what you have done to what you do now throughout camp?
No, that's good for sure. And you mentioned it going on year 8. It's they just click on by. But I think more of just kind of having a whole view on the offense as far as maybe like scripting plays, especially like with Coach Hill being the head coach. He can only do so much sometimes offensively. He's got to, kind of keep a focus on the team too. So kind of being that guy to keep it somewhat organized, and then that way when we get on the field, it can be pretty structured and flowing pretty good.
Starting the quarterback room, and of course, DJ's the guy, QB number 1. How has he earned that, not just here in camp, but what he does day to day, what you see day to day?
Yeah, he's been awesome, and we have super high expectations for him, and he knows that. He can shoulder that, and he's ready for it. And I think just for him, like knowing in the spring and getting a whole fall, I said this before, he's like a coach, and he's got to, he keeps leading, he's out in front. And so I think that sets the standard for our whole group of being on their P's and Q's and being ready to go.
You sit with these guys in a lot of film sessions. What about DJ specifically stands out about his football IQ when you see him, whether it's watching your guys' film, other film, picking up on things? Like, what stands out about his IQ and why maybe it separates?
Oh, for sure. And I think, too, just his college experience, he's played at Murray for a couple of years, and then now here, it's like you bank a lot of reps, and I think that's what he's good. He's got good recall of, specific looks of how he can take advantage of what the play call is. And so him and Coach Hill and myself are on always a pretty good wavelength of what we're thinking, and it's pretty even flow, so it's easy to have those conversations and know what to do with the ball.
All right, Coach Prawn, 2 days down. Yesterday was probably the hottest day that you could think of. Today was more like winter compared to yesterday in terms of the heat. But, that's built-in adversity. Those are uncontrollables. What did you find out about your guys just through the 2 different days that you've had and things you can't control?
Yeah, it was a beautiful day out today. I mean, this feels like a nice week 5 practice right here. But I think it shows a lot about the guys that throughout the summertime, we did a great job across the board getting ready for the season. But I think it shows the guys too, where it's like up top mentally, like, I don't care, like, you're not taking my reps. Oh, you don't want reps? I'm going to take them. So I think, to be brutally honest with you, we found a couple guys that we know for sure going into this fall are foxhole guys on this unit. Guys that are like, hey, I'll go take 8 straight reps yesterday when it's 95 degrees with 88% humidity or whatever it is, and don't care. You can't get me off the field.
It was a topic that Coach Poor, Mike Trude, and I were talking about after day 1 of looking at your defense and saying, man, when you lose guys like Anubaid Steed, when you lose Iverson Brown, guys who are not just huge in your position group room, but big on the team in so many areas, people may go, man, what are you going to do? But it's also, hey, that's a great opportunity for a lot of guys within your room. What have you seen here early in camp, and especially lean back to the spring and the summer, of guys trying to reach and take that opportunity that's there? Because there are voids that need to be filled.
Yeah, I think the really cool part is we have a really good blend of guys that have either in the last 8 months transferred in, either a mid-year or this summer, and guys that have been here and just making the most out of it. None of them might have the tag of returning starter and what it might be, but like safety room, for example, we got a couple guys that are homegrown in there, guys that have been a part of the program for 3+ years. And you look at some programs in the Missouri Valley that consistently at the top, that's how those guys are doing it. It's guys that are in the program, and there's always an outside noise that's worried about, hey, we don't have a returning starter at this position. Maybe we didn't get someone in the portal, all that. But in-house, we understand the development piece, the time, the resources that these guys are putting into it, we're putting into them. And there's not a room in the defense right now where it's like, shoot, like we missed on something or we should have done a better job in high school recruiting or portal recruiting. It's all comes down to development. That's the 12-month approach into college football that I think some people are losing sight of. But you have that time and you get to make the most of it. I'm really excited for a lot of these faces on the defense. I think you guys kind of mentioned, because I'm a big listener, but that guys that have been around the program, guys that have maybe had a special teams role or 15 to 20 snaps a game on the unit are now going to be able to step into a really big role. And it's going to be really fun to watch those guys have their opportunity.
Final question to you. It's not one of those, it's not a guy that you coach every day. He's not even on your side of the ball, but you've seen a lot of football. In your eyes, when you get the opportunity to go up against DJ Williams in practice, what do you believe is a separating factor of his that just really makes him him, and why you're very excited that he's not on an opposing scouting report?
It's fun. Me and DJ got a pretty good relationship because it's a little back and forth once in a while, but it's also something I've seen some of my mentors have too, where as a defensive coordinator, I think it's important to have a really good relationship with the quarterback and be able to kind of bounce some ideas off of him and be like, hey, like, this is kind of where we're getting you a little bit with maybe some post-snap rotation or pre-snap rotation, and the same thing. He can be like, hey, Pran, when I see this, like, I know I'm getting this picture, and that's why I'm picking you apart. And so I think it's his what's up top, and that's so hard to measure, and sometimes you only know that when you're in the building with the young man, and was fortunate enough to be around a couple good ones up there in 21 as well. But he has it up top. Like, he's a football junkie. He's in the office all the time. Get watching tape, Coach Hill, they're watching different quarterbacks. He's seeing where he can, and then you throw on what he does on the field. And it's one of those things we go into defensive unit meetings, and it's like, yeah, we like to think we tagged off on the hip right there and got him down. It's like, boys, we saw it. DJ's still running. Like, so then you throw in that, like, can run like a deer and throw like a rocket. So but it's up top and just his maturity too. You don't see that in a lot of young men that are able to be themselves shamelessly and love one another and try to truly bring out the best in those around them. I think it's a very underrated skill trait.